Hello, welcome to another video for the Cat's Garage. So, out taking a bunch of scrap metal that I took off of Steve, old exhaust, old suspension parts, stuff like that, stuff that's not salvageable by taking it to a swap meet, finding anybody who would like to use it to restore a vehicle. So I'm taking it to a local salvage yard to get rid of it. Yeah, I'll let them recycle all that metal and everything else and turn it into something new for somebody somewhere. Anyway, so today's video, it's going to be about 5 things that I hate about my new 2014 Chevy Silverado. We're going to get rid of that. I don't need that. I'm not speeding. But it's a 2014 Chevy Silverado High Country. Once again, 5.3 liter rear-wheel drive. And so here's the 5 things that I hate about this vehicle. Number 1, you hear that? I'm accelerating. I got an awesome V8 in this thing, and yeah, you can't hear it. I hate that. I like to hear my vehicles. I don't want to be obnoxiously loud, so number 1, the exhaust note on this vehicle, way too quiet. So when the person who bought this truck checked off all the blocks, they forgot to check off on the Borla performance suspension, or suspension. But the that gets to another item here in a little bit. But they didn't check off on the Borla exhaust. So I'm looking at getting either Borla S-Tune or something along those lines. Maybe the Attack. I've had Borla before. I like their products. Come with a great warranty, used by numerous race teams and stuff like that. So we'll be looking to do that in the near future. Number 2, I had just said it, suspension. So for a 2-wheel drive truck, one thing I hate about this truck is the wheel gap. That's got to get fixed. I need to get some type of lowering system to drop this truck down. And I'm not going to do air ride or anything like that. I don't want to cut up my bed. I don't want to C-notch the frame. But the gigantic wheel gap in the front and the rear has got to go. So right now I'm looking at Beltec. I'm looking at a Beltec 3.5 drop. So it gives me enough to at least get rid of a ton of that 4x4 looking wheel gap. And some people are like, what's wrong with 4x4 wheel gap? Nothing. If you have a 4x4, this is 2-wheel drive. I want to make it into a street cruising truck, and you know, I want it to sound the part. So there is that. So you can be looking forward to videos of me dropping this truck down sometime in the future, you know, after I get more done on Project Steve. So, which is the 64 C20 that I'm resto modding. But so number 3, the number 3 thing I don't like or I hate about this truck, this interior. This interior is the nicest Chevy interior I've ever seen. So, or owned for that matter. I don't like getting out of this truck. I like spending a ton of time inside the cab of this truck. So, which some people are like, well, why do you hate that? You know, it's like, because it's extremely comfortable. It's like sitting in a plush office someplace. And I mean, it's wonderful materials everywhere. I don't know what happened to Chevy. I mean, this is something I would expect from Cadillac, which I know this was Chevy's attempt to make their Silverado the highest end Silverado they could to compete with the Denali and with the Cadillac brands. So I gotta hand it to them. Primo job Chevrolet on the High Country interior. There's no cheap scratchy plastic. It's all nice leather everywhere. I mean, nice smooth plastics where they do use plastics. It's consistent throughout. It's not a bunch of mismatched things, kind of like on the new Fords where you have aluminum, grayish plastic, black plastic, you got some leather, you got some fake wood trim in the Ford, or maybe it's real wood trim, but it's still wood trim that doesn't, and none of it matches. It's like, you know, somebody grabbed a bunch of parts and then they threw them up inside the interior of the Ford. So Chevrolet, the consistency across the board in here and the materials that they used, primo job. I hate this interior because I can't bag on Chevrolets for their interiors anymore. So, and that's probably one of the really big selling points when I bought this truck, was as soon as I sat in it and took it for my test drive and everything else, I was blown away by it. So damn you, Chevrolet. That's one thing I can't make fun of you about anymore. But anyway, moving on. So number 4. The number 4 thing I hate about this truck is, you know, I got a 325 cubic inch engine in this truck, and it's a big truck because it's the crew cab. Granted, it's the short bed. It's the 5'8" bed, not the 6 foot whatever bed that comes in these trucks. But power. Yeah, it gets up and moves. The RPMs shoot up. Everything. It's great for the size of engine that it is, but you always have to have more power. So I'm already looking at superchargers and everything else that I want to put on this truck. And so there's the number 4 thing I hate about this truck. I need to have more power. So, and then the number 5 thing that I hate about this truck is making a I hate this truck so far video, because I really don't hate this truck. All these things, obviously, if you can tell from the video, are things that I absolutely love about this truck, but it's gonna make me spend a ton more money on this truck, on the things that I want to do to obviously make it my own, and I'm looking forward to doing it. But it's one of those things where I'm tossing 2 things up in the air, like, well, do I work on Steve, or do I continue to make Steve a long-term project? Or do I spend, you know, some of the cash I have on hand right now on doing this truck right now, because I'm driving this truck right now and I would just be able to drive it every single day. You know, once I get the 64 done, I'm not going to be driving the 64 every day. So, but I will be driving this back and forth to work and taking the boys to see grandma and grandpa and all that good stuff. So as you can see, there's my list of 5 things I hate about this truck. Too quiet. Gotta spend money, which is number 5, and we're gonna see how much number 5 comes up here. So number 1, exhaust. Gotta spend money, change the tone of this exhaust, and probably add an intake and all that stuff just to give it more growl. But number 2, suspension. Wheel gap needs to be lowered. So we'll be looking at getting that done. More money. Number 5. Back to number 5. Number 3. So number 3, the interior. Actually, I don't need to spend any money on this interior. So I just can't make fun of Chevrolets for their interiors anymore, because I can point to my own truck and say, okay, well, maybe this is the exception to the rule. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to start looking at more Chevrolets and stuff like that on the new stuff to see what they've all changed, because I remember the old Chevrolets and ugh. Anyway. So I can't make fun of this interior anymore for Chevrolet. And then we got number 4, which is more power. But that's any vehicle, so that doesn't matter what vehicle I drive. And after a while of driving it, it's like, oh, okay, it needs more power. So I'll probably have no problem roasting the tires off on this thing, but yeah. So number 4, more power, obviously, which leads to number 5, again, spend more money. But so that's it. There's my top 5 list of things that I hate about this vehicle. Anyway, thanks for watching the Cat's Garage, and tune back in for more videos. We're gonna keep them coming. It's gonna be a plethora of different things that we're doing. If you have any comments, suggestions, things that you would like to see on the channel and stuff like that, go ahead, leave it in the comments. I try to answer all comments, or, you know, I'll give a thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on whatever you put in the comments. But anyway, y'all take care, y'all drive safe, and thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Take care.